Things you need to know if you're trying to lose the baby weight postpartum. I'm Chelsea, I'm a mama too, and I am a pre and postnatal coach. So this is what I did to get back to my pre-pregnancy weight 2 times. Understand that the first 2 to 3 months of your postpartum journey should not be for diets. There is going to be a time and a place to drop your calories, to diet, but the first 2 to 3 months after you have a baby is not it. Let your body fall where it naturally is going to fall, okay? So you might end up losing way more than you thought that you would, and your body's going to naturally kind of shed a lot of that weight. Obviously, a lot of the weight after you have a baby is the baby, the placenta, the fluid, and you're going to have this massive drop in weight all at once. But then after that, it's going to slow down, and whatever actual fat you've gained during pregnancy is going to be what's left over. But wait and see where your body naturally falls. Just focus on good nutrition, focus on healing, focus on your baby for the first couple months postpartum. This is especially important if you are breastfeeding. Let your milk supply be established before you consider a dieting phase. Supply is well established, and now you are ready to actually drop the weight. You are feeling a little bit uncomfortable. You're like, okay, I want my pre-pregnancy jeans to zip up. Now it's time to actually enter a calorie deficit, and the way you're going to do this is by tracking your calories. Don't fool yourself to say that you can just eat intuitively postpartum and lose the weight. I mean, for some women that might work, but for most women, they are going to need to track their calories to know what's coming in and going out, especially if you are breastfeeding, and this is because you need to keep calories high enough. Tracking your food isn't always just to eat less, it's to also make sure you eat enough. And when you're postpartum, there's this very delicate balance between keeping your milk supply high and eating enough to produce a good amount of milk, and also eating the right amount in order to support fat loss. When you are postpartum and breastfeeding, you need an extra 500 to 800 calories. So that means if your maintenance level would normally be 2,000, you need to eat 2,500 or 2,800 just to maintain. So then to lose, you're going to drop a little bit from there in order to lose the weight. Now, please understand that weight loss should be slow postpartum, because if you slash your calories really low, your milk supply might take a dip, and that's what we don't want. What you eat is also super important postpartum, okay? It's not just calories, it's also what you eat, because certain foods are going to help with milk supply more than others. For example, having chia seeds and a lot of certain grains, different high calorie foods like nuts, lean meats, those are all good for milk supply, and you wanna make sure you're incorporating lots of those foods in your diet. Now, if you are formula feeding, you don't have to worry about this. You can just do what would normally be a calorie deficit for you, and you don't really have to worry about the extra food in order to support supply. A lot of moms saying that other people are coming to them and telling them that they'll never be their pre-pregnancy size or get back to their pre-pregnancy weight. It's just gone after kids. And those women are just insecure and they don't like their postpartum body, so they don't want you to do it. Next step, you absolutely need to be moving around, and there's no excuses for this. Even if you're postpartum and you're tired, I get it, but this is going to give you a little bit more energy. It doesn't have to be extreme. You can just go for walks, go for daily walks, and this is something you can do with your baby. You don't have to get time to yourself, so even if you have no help and you have no alone time, you can still walk. This is something almost every single one of us has no excuse not to do. So go on daily walks, get your body moving, involve your kiddo. It is a myth, okay? Please hear me. It is a myth that if you start walking or doing light exercise, your milk supply is going to tank. That is absolutely not true, okay? You would have to be doing marathon training, which no one is doing postpartum. At least I hope you're not. You would have to be burning so many calories in order for it to negatively affect your supply. Your supply is only going to dip if you're not eating enough, and if you're not sleeping, and if you're anxious, and all these things. Those are going to have a greater impact on your supply than walking. If anything, the stress reduction and the benefits of moving your body are going to help supply, not hurt it, okay? You're going to sleep. And you might be laughing at me, you're postpartum, you're probably not getting a whole lot of that sleep, but you are going to do your best. You're going to do your best to get as much sleep as you possibly can in this postpartum phase, because it's going to help with healing, it's going to help with cravings and hunger cues, it's going to make you a lot more likely to eat less. It's proven that the more sleep you get, the less hungry you are. If you have lack of sleep, oftentimes you are going to want to overeat. So focus on sleep. Go to bed early. I know it's hard because you put the baby down and that's the little sliver of time that you get to yourself, but try to make yourself go to bed earlier, because you're going to feel better, you're going to have more energy, and you're also going to be more likely to lose the weight if you can get some sleep. But not least, you absolutely need to give this time, okay? This is going to take time. This is not going to happen immediately. Postpartum, your body does not go back to normal till close to a year. That's when all the healing can happen, when things really do shift back to their normal size. And we have this idea 6 weeks postpartum, you should be back, and that is absolutely not true. You can feel good. You can lose the weight pretty quick postpartum if you didn't gain a lot. You can still feel so much better in a couple months, but to be like totally normal, it does take a year. So be patient with yourself, give yourself time, and you will be good to go. And don't let anybody tell you, not your friends, not your mom, not people on the internet, that after kids you can't feel and look amazing, okay?